So, today we're diving into something really fascinating. What happens when a classic European tradition gets reimagined with incredible Japanese precision? We're talking about Christmas markets. You know, you've got the festive stalls, the warm drinks, but it's all done with this unique aesthetic twist that tells a much bigger story about how cultures borrow and reinterpret ideas. Let's get into it.
You know, this quote just absolutely nails it. Japan has this incredible knack for taking something from abroad, carefully taking it apart piece by piece, and then putting it all back together into something that's new but still makes perfect sense. And honestly, Christmas markets are one of the best examples you'll ever see of this in action.
And yeah, that's the big question for us today, isn't it? What happens when you apply that meticulous, thoughtful process to something as deeply rooted and, well, chaotic as a European Christmas market?
Okay, so here's the first thing you really need to get. These markets, they're not really trying to be a perfect copy. It's more like they're creating a European mirage. Think of it like an incredible, highly detailed stage set built right in the middle of the city, blending this dreamlike idea of Europe with that very Japanese sense of precision.
Right, so forget about the kind of, rustic chaos you might find at a traditional German market. You won't find that here. Instead, every single detail is just so carefully considered. Everything is spotless, everything is controlled, and it is all obsessively, beautifully aesthetic.
So you might be wondering, why does this whole idea work so perfectly in Japan? Well, it's because Christmas in Japan has never really been about religion. It's always been about the lights, the feeling. It's a holiday that's built from the ground up on atmosphere.
And you can really see the difference when you put them side by side like this. In Europe, Christmas is often religious, it's very family-centered, and it's soaked in this deep, deep nostalgia. But in Japan, it's all about the atmosphere. It's festive for sure, but it has this almost cinematic feel to it. The whole season is defined by a mood, not by any kind of doctrine.
And because the focus is so much on that mood, on the atmosphere, these markets are just a natural next step for another beloved Japanese tradition, the winter illuminations. I mean, these are these absolutely breathtaking light displays that turn entire parts of cities into wonderlands. The markets just add this charming, European-themed layer right on top of all that amazing glow.
All right, so how about we take a quick little virtual tour? It's really cool to see how this plays out across the country, because even though the main idea is the same, each city puts its own little spin on things.
Okay, first stop, the famous market at Roppongi Hills in Tokyo. This one is probably the most direct nod to Germany you'll find. It has the classic wooden huts. They even import the little Nussknackers or Nutcracker figurines. But then you look up, and boom, there's the Tokyo Tower right there, which is this fantastic reminder that you are in a beautifully curated version of Munich, not the real thing. But then you can just hop over to Yebisu Garden Place, still in Tokyo, and the entire vibe changes. It's so minimalist and elegant. It almost feels like the whole thing was designed just to be the perfect backdrop for a photo. This market isn't about the busy crowds. It's all about taking a slow, beautiful stroll with these warm lights and quiet music playing.
Now let's head south to Osaka, and the energy completely shifts again. I mean, it's Osaka, right? So the market is a little bit noisier, it's way more relaxed, and the food is definitely heartier. It just feels more boisterous, more plugged into the city's incredible local energy. And then you have the port city of Yokohama, which offers something totally different. Its market has this unbelievably romantic, almost melancholic feel to it. All the lights reflecting on the harbor water, it just creates this uniquely peaceful and absolutely stunning scene.
Okay, obviously you can't talk about a market without talking about the food and drinks. And just like the atmosphere, the classic flavors of Christmas get a really thoughtful Japanese reinterpretation. So the goal here is harmony, not just making a perfect copy. The mulled wine, it's often a little sweeter, and you might even find it flavored with yuzu, that amazing Japanese citrus. The sausages are typically served in smaller, perfectly presented portions. And the desserts? Oh man, the desserts are pure Japanese pastry share. This is where Christmas famously means a beautiful strawberry shortcake.
So when you put all of this together, what do you actually get? Well, what emerges is this totally new kind of charm. It's the beauty of a perfectly crafted dream. Now look, if you're European, you might walk through one of these and feel like, something's missing. You know, that deep inherited nostalgia just isn't there. But what you get instead is something else entirely. A quiet, almost contemplative version of the holiday, where the sheer visual beauty of it all is the main event.
And that brings us to this idea, which I think sums up the whole transformation perfectly. Tradition becomes decor.
All the historical and religious weight is just gently set aside, and what's left is the pure aesthetic. The symbols, the lights, the feeling, all presented like a piece of immersive art.
And maybe that's the real magic of it all, you know? A Japanese Christmas market isn't weighed down by centuries of collective memory or expectation. It's just a luminous pause in the middle of a busy urban winter. It's a chance to step into a captivating dream with a warm drink in your hand.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Can a dream of a place, this perfectly curated, beautiful reinterpretation, be just as charming as the real thing? Maybe, just maybe, in its own unique and refined way, it can be even more so. What do you think?